right, so we wanted to get into the Italian digital nomad visa that they just recently announced. I'm actually very surprised that this came out. They've been promising this for about 2+ years, but it's out. So let's get into it. Now, it's pretty straightforward for the most part. There's one or two things that it's kind of maybe want to consider, but very similar to other DNVs throughout Europe. For 2024, you need to make at least 28,000 euro. No, I'm sorry. You need to make at least 28,000 euro annually, not every year. Monthly, it's about 2,333 euro a month. And that's actually less than Spain and Portugal. So if you're looking at Spain and Portugal and you're like, yeah, I'd like to make, that's a little too much for me, Italy might be it. Now, it's going to be good for a year, and you can extend it. Now, they are looking for something they consider highly skilled. That definition it's not exactly defined. There's kind of some loose definitions and some stuff you can look at. Now, it seems like they are looking for individuals with a university degree. That doesn't mean that if you don't have a university degree, you can't apply, but having a university degree will make you more desirable. And naturally, if you have something more than a bachelor's degree, it'll make you that much more attractive. But you also need to show that you have at least 5 years of work experience in your particular field. So if you're somebody that's just getting into the DNV world and you kind of bounced around a little bit, you might not be able to qualify for this. You need to have kind of show at least some kind of a track in the field you're in. Basically, they just want to make sure that you can continue working once you get in Italy. That's really what a lot of these kind of little quirky requirements are for different countries. They just want to make sure that you can still make money on your own without taking jobs from locals. You haven't been doing the digital nomad visa stuff before, you will need to start with a different country, because you have to show that you've been able to work as a digital nomad for at least 6 months. That's part of the requirements. So, they don't say that you have to leave your country. So you could go from Florida to Maine and work for 6 months. That should, as long as you can show that you can work remotely for more than 6 months. So as long as you can show the 6-month thing, that you have been in your industry for at least 5 years, and you are highly skilled, again, basically just showing that you can work remotely and that you likely have a degree, you should qualify for that. If you're looking to teach English, unless you are like an English teacher or you have been teaching for at least 5 years, this probably isn't one that's going to work for you. There's plenty of other digital nomad visas throughout Europe and other parts of the world that you can apply for. So you can continue to teach in these other areas of the world, and once you hit that 5 year, you can come back and apply for the Italian DNV. Who knows? Maybe they'll change it by the time, but that's just keep that 5 year work. As long as you've had 5 years, then you can apply for the Italian digital nomad visa. And one last thing: when you are applying, you have to apply from your country of origin, of residence. If you were born, if you are a U.S. citizen, you have to apply in the United States. You can't be on a digital nomad visa in Uruguay and apply from there. You can't be, in Mexico or any place else. You have to apply in the United States. So that's one thing to consider if you are currently traveling on a digital nomad or living someplace else on a digital nomad visa. So keep that in mind. Now, there's one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, but this is more for families. Now, if you are looking to go somewhere on a digital nomad visa with your family, Italy does allow it, but you have to apply individually. You have to apply for that individually. You have to be approved individually, and you have to get a place of residence, an apartment, individually. And then when you go to Italy to pick up all your documentation, you have to go to the local police department and register. And at that point, when you're registering, you have to inform them or request that that you can bring your family over, and they put complete power in the local police department. I am not a huge fan of that. One, I think it's unnecessary extra bureaucratic paperwork. You're already giving them all information. Why can't you just add your family to it when you're applying for the original digital nomad visa? I think this is just an unnecessary added step. And two, I don't like how much power it can give the police department. Now, I'm not saying that's going to turn into an issue. I'd probably say 99% of the time it'll be fine. But there's still that possibility of the police department being like, what is it worth to you? You've already paid for all this stuff. You've already applied for all this stuff. You can't back out. You're here. How bad do you want your family here? Not saying that's going to happen, but the fact that it can happen, not a fan of it. I think that's unnecessary. I don't like it, but that's just part of it. So if you have a family and you're applying you want your family to come with you, keep this in mind. And it's really the only thing I'm not a big fan of. The digital nomad visa for Italy is in effect now, so you can apply for it now if you'd like. And it doesn't seem like it's the most difficult thing. You don't need a whole bunch of stuff translated and things like you do with Spain. So you might be able to get away with applying for this without the aid of an immigration attorney, which is a money saver. You'd probably save yourself €1,000. So just something to keep in mind. So if you've really been waiting out Italy, they finally have one. You can finally apply for it, but just keep all this in mind. You got to be a highly skilled worker. Generally have a college degree. You have to be working in your field for 5 years. You have to have been proven that you've worked remotely for at least 6 months. And if you have a family, you're going to have to apply in person after you've been given everything or approved for everything. But anyways, that's the little kind of basic lowdown on the Italian digital nomad visa that is brand spanking new. If you have any questions about it or questions about different digital nomad visas, or there's a particular country you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. And for now, I will catch you guys later.